first thing I did, I went to Home Depot, bought one spray paint, and I took one bed sheet from my home, wrote a name on it, Sukhadia, like with the spray paint, and I hang it outside the store. Hello, my name is Piyush Sukhadia, and I was born and raised in a town called Khambhat in Gujarat, India. I was born in a family of traditional sweet making, halwai, and it's been in the family for last 7 generations. My family used to be the official halwai for the Nawab of Khambhat. Being born in a halwai family, we had like a reward system. If we want to eat a golgappa at the end of the day, or if you want to have a bicycle or a watch, we had to first do X amount of work in the family kitchen. And after we do that, like make couple of trays of laddu or make the pedas, then only we were allowed to get that treat. I'm very much grateful to my family that they gave us the seeds of doing hard work right from the childhood. The town where I grew up, Khambhat or Khambhat, what we used to call, it's a small town with about population of 70 to 80,000 people. I never wanted to live in such a small town, so at age of 17 or 18, I asked my father that I would like to go to Bombay and learn the diamond trade. So he said, no, I won't let you go to Bombay. So I went on hunger strike, and I stopped eating for a couple of days. So then he said, okay, you go to Bombay. So he sent me to Bombay to one of our family friends' home in Bhuleshwar, which is hard for the diamond business. But then my father was a visionary, and he was his name was Buddhisagar. He said, Piyush, you know what? I think you should go to New York and should not stay in Bombay, because New York is big. I know our hometown was small for you, but your uncle and auntie both live in New York. Why don't you go there? So he sent me my passport. Next day I went to US Embassy in Bombay, and I waited in line for long. When my interview came, there was one black lady. She asked me that, hey young boy, why do you want to go to the US? So even I just told her that I have read in one book that the streets are paved with gold and it's a land of opportunity. So when I came to JFK, I remembered that it was a wintry days, and it was quite cold, dark earlier, and I hardly used to speak English. So I didn't have any US money to call my uncle. My father was supposed to call my uncle and tell him that I'm coming by such and such flight, but I guess he never got the phone connections go through. So I asked few American people passing by. I said, please call my uncle, this number, please call. So they say, you have money? Oh no, no money. So they okay. So some good people dial me a phone and connect to my uncle. My uncle goes, oh Piyush, you can't waste money like this. How is all the family member? And let me talk to other people. And I said, no uncle, I'm at JFK. He goes, stop kidding, nobody just comes to JFK like that. You let me talk to my father and other people in the family. Says, uncle, seriously, I'm at JFK. And before we talk more, the phone got disconnected. Then I had to wait another half hour, 45 minutes. Somebody else came on board, gave me another phone call. Then uncle realized that, I think I was right. And ultimately he came to pick me up at the airport. So that was my beginning of coming to this country. I started looking around for a job. Of course, everybody would ask me first question that do I have work permits, work visa? And I would say, no, I don't have it yet. So couple of our family friends, one is Mr. Norman Lakhani, another one is Mr. Rajan from Pinky Enterprise. They both helped me sponsoring for my green card status. But until then, I had no other like job opportunity available, even though I had a degree on hand. So I said, you know what, maybe I know how to make mithai. By this time, I had hit a lottery. I had got my partner with me, Bindu, and I think in life we all get lottery. This was my biggest lotto or jackpot, you can call it.
My name is Piyush Sukhadia. I came to this country 1987. As a young girl, I always had a dream to go to America and study something. As a first, the bride in the house, I had a rush of responsibility for the housework. So I cannot take so many courses because that is my first responsibility. After marriage, we supposed to take care of our family, so I just took very less courses. We got a opportunity to introduce ourselves at the Gujarati Samaj in Queens. Vishnu Kaka, he told us that, oh, you are from Khambat, Piyush, you know the halwasan and sutafani and kachori is very famous and everybody will like it. Why not you make some? And that time, in 15 minutes, we sold everything. Whatever we made, we sold everything. We were so happy. It gave us so much courage that, our product actually Indian crowd will definitely enjoy. Why not we try more? And I told him that whatever you do, I will give you fully support and let's do that. So that way, we started to make some little items and some mithai and some kachori, and that way we started from the scratch, from zero.
We both went to Bowery Street in Chinatown. We had about $100 total in our bank balance at that time. So we bought a couple of stoves and some basic cooking equipped vessels and came home, went to there's a place called Jetro in Brooklyn, where you go and pick up, it's a cash and carry kind of a place for the restaurant industry to pick up the groceries. And I went there, picked up the stuff, came home, and in my uncle's basement, that was the very first beginning of Sukhadia's. After we started making mithai at my uncle's basement on Staten Island, within a couple of weeks, we started growing. First batch of sweets that we made, I took it to Jackson Heights and I gave it to a grocery store called Ganesh Groceries. When I came home at night on Staten Island, Bindu says, Piyush, somebody by name Ganesh Grocery kept on calling for you, and he said whatever you gave him today, he wants 50 more of those dibba tomorrow. So I said, oh, wow, really? Then she goes, yes. So, and we worked through the whole night, and we were able to make him a delivery for the 50 more dibbas of mithai next day. So we ended up renting a small space in Linden, New Jersey. It was in the middle of the residential neighborhood because we could not afford any bigger store on the main street. So we took a small space where we were able to make some and at the same time do some daily business as a forefront. One of my main account was on Oak Tree Road in Addison, a store we used to call Dreamland Groceries, and the owner was Mr. Ashok Shah. So what happened is I will drop him the mithai and I'll request him for the payment for the previous delivery. But then he would say, oh, there is no money in the drawers, so maybe if you hang out for another hour or two and see if few more dollars comes in, I'll give you some. And next door there was a Jim's ice cream shop. So where we would, I would sit there with my little daughter Shaivi in a cradle and wait for an hour or two. And Jim told me something really good. He said, your product sells, he's not selling it. He's just keeping it on the storefront. If you keep your product anywhere, it will sell because you really have a good product. That's the point. And I think this is where, when I say God or the angel came to my life. Jim asked me for my phone number, and he said, I'll call you in a couple of days. So I said, okay. So then Jim calls me after 2 days, and he said, hey, are you interested in taking over my store? I realized that there's no way I can afford Jim's store. But Jim, being the God that was in him, he said that how about I give you everything on a handshake base. We don't do any paper commitment, no signing papers, and you run this store for 2-3 months. If you don't make it, I'll come back and take it from you. First thing I did, I went to Home Depot, bought one spray paint, and I took one bed sheet from my home, wrote a name on it, Sukhadia, like with the spray paint, and I hang it outside the store. And me and Bindu, we started working in the back. So very soon the word spread out all over that hey, Sukhadia, there's a place called Sukhadia has opened up, and they have really good food. So what happens is after 2 months, now as per our agreement, Jim decided to come back to meet me. It took Jim about half an hour to enter into the shop because there were long lines outside the shop. So when Jim comes in, he goes, oh, do you remember me? I said, of course. Then he goes, oh, I just came to take my store back because as for agreement 2 months are over. So I said, Jim, of course he was kidding, but then I said, Jim, I don't go to church as much, but I think if God is there in the world, the God I think is in people like you, and you have become my God. And I think from that the real progress of Sukhadia started. The word spread out like a fire throughout the whole New Jersey and many, many other states. So whoever will come, make a point to visit us and to patronize our store. And from there, we got real strength of hiring more and more power and more manpower, more product lines we are able to introduce. We are able to get our first factory location, and then that project became so successful, we decided to open up outlets in Chicago, then moved to a bigger facility.
કેમ છો? મારું નામ શૈલી સુખાડિયા છે અને હું બિંદુ અને પિયુષ સુખાડિયાની daughter છું. Growing up as children and as a child with my parents, they were in their stages of just starting the business when I was born. I always hear a lot of stories about how we lived in the same exact living room or area. Our bedroom was in the same place where my parents would begin to start making halvasan or kachori or sutarfeni when they first started the business. I was only about 1 or 2 years old. So I was really with them through the start of it. Our parents worked very long hours. We would have many instances day in, day out. Our staff members of the business became a part of our family because they were actually the ones that would pick us up from school, take us to classes. They would give us lunch. We never really saw our parents until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. We grew up with our grandparents in the house. We call them our ba and dada. Ba and Dada were always a part of our family. They were stationed with us in New Jersey and lived here and really raised us. And being at home with them is where we got our exposure to the Gujarati language, to the Hindu religion, to Indian food, to Gujarati food, also to eating vegetarian and staying vegetarian, which is a very hard thing to do when you're growing up in this country. So having our Ba and Dada around, and Ba and Dada were a huge influence on the business as well. The combination of having my grandparents with me growing up, plus having my parents who went through such a hard journey themselves, those two things combined kind of brought us to where we are now. And once I started working in the corporate world, it was a great opportunity. I was doing very, very well, but I decided on my own that it was time for me to come into the business and take it to the next level. I really enjoy this business, and I think the main reason that I decided to come into the business was because my parents were also interested in growing, and they were interested in hearing about my idea. I would say that for my future children and the future generations, having the Sukhadia legacy is a very important one. Through my whole childhood, anyone that heard my last name and anyone that knew that I was the daughter of the Sukhadia family, it was a piece of, it was a part of fame in a way, and a lot of people didn't believe that because they've grown up with that brand name in their heads, or they've heard from their parents, that Sukhadia equals Mithai, and they've known something about our brand, and to be part of that is significant.
Doing something good to somebody unknown from some other country with other skin, another language, another religion, I think it's just, I have never seen this in my life before. And I think honestly this country has these kind of gems all over, and it just we are lucky to be knowing them and coming in touch with them. So the same, I had a couple of same incidents in my life that I have gone through, and these are the kind of people who I would call my angels, who have come and given me that hand to lift me up and make us be in the business and grow stronger and stronger. I strongly believe hard work pays off.